Shivoham. Om Nityananda Paramashivoham. 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 Om Nityananda Paramashivoham.
Yes. So in this next segment, we're going to be learning about the Bhava and the Arunachala Purana, a happening of the Jyotirlinga. The Arunachala Purana, happening of Lingotri. Paramashiva manifested as the Deep Skambha, the Jyoti Skambha, to Brahma and Vishnu, liberating them from delusion as to who is more powerful or more important between the two. Brahma and Vishnu had a fight. Who is bigger? Brahma is the creator of the whole universe, and Vishnu is the sustainer, the protector of the cosmos. The words in their fight got too much because creation and sustenance was fighting. There is a big chaos and stagnancy in the cosmos. Paramashiva had to intervene. He appears as the light shaft and tells them, whoever finds my head or feet first is the most powerful person. Immediately, Brahma takes the form of a swan and begins flying upwards, trying to find the head of Lord Paramashiva. I will go and find your head, he says, and he leaves. Vishnu takes the form of a pig, Varaha, and says that he will find the bottom of Paramashiva. Both were neither able to find the head or the feet. Vishnu accepts that he is not able to find Brahma. Not only he is not able to find the head, he is not able to accept defeat as well. Brahma is the creator. He is the principle of creation. He is created and manifested from the creation principle of Paramashiva. Paramashiva's 5 heads. From one head, the creation principle manifests as Brahma, and from Brahma, creation happens. Same way, Vishnu manifests from the maintenance aspect of Paramashiva and does the maintenance of the cosmos. Vishnu and Brahma are attention drawing colorful actions. They delude themselves because they both think that they are the ultimate, and between them they start fighting who is greater. Brahma represents knowledge and Vishnu represents wealth. Knowledge is required for creation and wealth is required for maintenance. They both start feeling that they are the ultimate. And the next level of delusion is that not only do they feel that they are the ultimate, they begin fighting with each other as to who is more powerful. Naturally, Paramashiva has to come down, liberate them from the delusion. Neither creation nor sustenance is the ultimate. The ultimate is liberation. Paramashiva pulls both of them out of delusion and liberates them. The moment Paramashiva appears as the Jyotishtamba, as the Jyotirlinga, he tells Brahma and Vishnu, whoever finds my head or feet will be declared as the supreme. Brahma becomes a swan and flies towards the head of Paramashiva. The swan always lives in the lotus. He should have actually gone to find the lotus feet, but instead he goes and finds the head of Paramashiva. Vishnu takes the form of a pig. The pig always lives in the forest. He should have actually taken the decision to go towards Paramashiva's jata, which is like a forest. Unfortunately, both could not find the two ends. Vishnu goes on digging. Even then, he reaches only up to the calf muscle of Paramashiva. To mark the place where Vishnu reached, he ties a bell on Paramashiva's calf muscle. That is why in all Shiva deities, if you see, there will be a bell on Shiva's calf muscle. Brahma takes the form of a swan and flies, and his age is almost over. He then finds out that he cannot find the head of Paramashiva. As he goes, he sees a flower falling, and he asks the flower, "Where are you coming from?" The flower says that he is falling from the ears of Paramashiva. Brahma asks him, "How long has it been since you've been falling?" The flower says that he has been falling for the 4 Brahma ages. Knowledge always has ego. It cannot accept defeat. Brahma, who represents knowledge, asks the flower, "Can you support me by saying that I brought you from the head of Paramashiva? I will give you lot of boons." The flower became a little tempted. Paramashiva, Brahma goes to Paramashiva and lies to Paramashiva, saying that he found the head of Paramashiva and this flower is the witness. The moment Paramashiva stares at both of them, both the flower withers away and the swan's feathers burn away. Brahma gets the curse that he will neither be worshipped anymore, and the flower gets cursed that it will never be used in Shiva Puja. Brahma then, realizing his inauthenticity and non-integrity, begins doing tapas as a prayashchitta and requests for the forgiveness of Paramashiva. Paramashiva is eternal compassion. He says, "You will be there in all of my temples, facing the north direction, where my sacred bath water will come through Bhumka, and from that water, you can do the creation." The flower was given the sharp of Vimochana that once a year, on the day of Shivaratri, the flower will be used for Shiva Puja, but not on any other day. Even now on Tirunamale, the Linga of Bhava will be worshipped with a Karmpu only on Shivaratri day. You need to understand the deeper layers in meaning. Knowledge and wealth cannot show you the ultimate, and it is not the ultimate. Enlightenment alone is the ultimate. Both Vishnu and Brahma requested Paramashiva to retain his form as the light shaft and bless the whole universe. At their request, Shiva, in that form of the divine light, became Arunachala, the glowing mountain in Tirunamale. True to his promise, Parameshwar retains his form as the Arunachala mountain, assumes the form of a Shivalinga or Arunachaleshwara at the temple in Tirunamale, and is continuously incarnating till this day, keeping the unbroken lineage of enlightened beings in Tirunamale alive. Now we're going to be looking at the significance of the Lingodhava story revealed by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. Vishnu represents the Mamakara, the identity you carry within yourself and what you believe yourself to be. Brahma represents the Ahankara, the identity which you project to the outer world. Neither the Ahankara nor the Mamakara can realize the truth or give you the truth. Paramashiva, who is the cosmic consciousness, the embodiment of the existential energy, takes you beyond Ahankara and Mamakara, because neither the Ahankara nor Mamakara can reach, understand, and realize Mahadev. Now, for this next segment, Sundareshwar Maharaj will be joining us and expanding on these principles of Ahankara, Mamakara, and what we can understand and learn and imbibe from this Puranic story of Lingodhava.
Yes. Nityanam, everybody. Thank you, Mangala Maharaj, for leading on. And we all listened beautifully to the story and the happening of Bhagwan Lingodhava and how Bhagwan Vishnu and Bhagwan Brahma were liberated from their ignorance and delusion. So let us look at what the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism shares beautifully about the happening of Bhagwan Lingodhava. Yes. The significance of the Lingodhava story as revealed by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. Vishnu represents the Mamakara. So what exactly is Mamakara? Mamakara is the idea that we carry about ourselves. In each and every one of our life, all of us carry various different ideologies. It might be I'm a good person, I'm a happy person, I'm a cheerful person. It can also be negative, such as anything that I touch will not flourish, anything I'm into will not work. So, whatever idea that you carry about yourself is Mamakara. Brahma represents the Ahankara. Ahankara is the what? Is the identity that you project to the entire world, the outer world around you. It can always be that you can show to others that you're very brave, you're very courageous, you're very powerful. Most of the time, Ahankara will never be powerless. You'll always try to show yourself as someone more powerful, more uh, strong, and that kind of thing. There are also instances where we show ourselves as powerless, petty, trying to gain attention from people. Neither the Ahankara nor the Mamakara can realize the truth or give you the truth. Because both of these, whether it is the Mamakara or the Ahankara, both of them are from your own understanding about life. And that is where Paramashiva comes in. Because just by your identity and just by the identity that you project to the world, you cannot realize who you are. So Paramashiva comes down as the embodiment of the cosmic consciousness, is the embodiment of the existential energy, takes you beyond Ahankara and Mamakara. He shows you what you exactly are, what you truly are, what is the real powerfulness that you need to hold, and that neither Ahankara nor Mamakara can reach and realize Mahadeva. This is a very powerful truth that we all need to understand in our life. As long as we hold on to the identities that we carry about ourselves, it can be any kind of identity that you have. It can be the identity that any kind of positive identity that you hold about you, or any kind of negative identity that you hold about you. Understand they are all based on the collective cognitions that you've created around you, especially based on the I and mind. Swami very beautifully shares the Mamakara, which is the cognition about yourself, that is created based on the situations that happen around you. What are the things that you possess around you? It's always where, based on the things that you have around you, you decide and declare who you are. For example, in your life, if you have a house, if you're able to earn a good amount of money, if you're having a nice family, then you consider yourself as successful. It is not that you inside internally you know that you are powerful, you are Paramashiva, and then you manifest the external happenings. No. It's always based on the external happenings that you decide who you truly are or what idea that you carry about you. So the Mamakara itself, whatever each and every one of us are carrying, is a lie. Because none of those things externally are actually going to show what you are. And when your Mamakara is actually based on that, when the idea about who you are is based on that, everything is just hoax. None of it is true. Same way, the Ahankara. The Ahankara is once again dependent on how things are around you. Based on how people react to you, you react back to them. You show yourself to them. You project yourself to them. For example, when we are a small child, we look at our parents get into fight, or somewhere we saw that an elderly person shouting at a kid, another kid, and we thought, oh yes, if you shout at someone, they obey and they listen and do what they want. So what is that you try to do from that? So when you grow big, you try to implement and you try to do the same thing. You try to show yourself as someone more powerful so that the other person listens to you. This is just one example that I'm giving to every one of you. But just like this in our life, we always choose and base our life based on the situations outside. So neither is our Mamakara true, nor is the Ahankara true. Please listen carefully. That's exactly what Swamiji is sharing here. Neither Brahma, who is Ahankara, nor Vishnu, who is the Mamakara, is true. Vishnu, who represents wealth, it is based on the wealth that you have around you, you decide who you truly are, which is the Mamakara. Whereas Brahma represents knowledge. It is based on the knowledge that you gain from people You strategically decide how you want to project yourself to people. But neither of this is ultimate. Both of these things can be used to reach the ultimate, but to ourselves, to our identity about ourselves, the way we project ourselves to others, we lose everything. That is where Parameshwara happens. That is where Parameshwara, who's the ultimate consciousness, the existential energy, happens. The very happening of Bhagavan Lingodbhava is a beautiful expression that very clearly signifies that neither the mamakara that you carry nor the ahankara is ultimate. As long as you hold on to your own mamakara or ahankara, you are bound to experience suffering because you're holding on to some lower level identities about you, and based on those lower level identities about you, you're reacting and responding to life. And naturally, when you react and respond to life with a lower level cognition, life will also respond back to you in the same way. Unless and until you understand that you are Parameshwara, which Parameshwara manifests, and he gives that experience to Brahma and Vishnu, that neither knowledge nor wealth is the ultimate, neither creation nor sustenance is the ultimate, it is liberation that is the ultimate. That is when you get rid of all the lower level mamakaras, ahankaras that you carry, and it is aligned to the cosmic consciousness. There is a great significance in this story. You cannot attain Nityananda, which is the eternal bliss, with either intellect or with money. Going upwards is Brahma, which is Rajas, which is passion without value. Please understand this very statement. It is Brahma, which is intellect or money. Most of the time, we think just having some intellectual knowledge, being able to experience, and having some moral values is enough and we can carry on with our life. No. It is Rajas, which is a high kind of restlessness that exists. You always delude yourself thinking that you have all the knowledge and you put yourself into suffering. That is the reason Brahma was cursed by Parameshwara, that he would never be worshipped. Because Brahma always thought, he was like, yeah, I know everything. What is the difference between me and Parameshwara? The moment he knew that, the moment he was deluded in this understanding, that is when he got the idea to even cheat. And or at least maybe try to cheat Parameshwara. Of course, no one can cheat Parameshwara. But he was foolish thinking that Parameshwara would not know. The moment you get caught up with the intellectual knowledge, intellectual understandings, and when it does not become an experience in your life, you get deluded thinking that, oh, I also have the same knowledge, he also has the same knowledge. What is the difference between me and Parameshwara? And you delude yourself and destroy yourself. This is one of the biggest problems with intellectuals that we face, where they are stuck in the spiritual growth. Just having some intellectual knowledge is not equal to experience and does not actually make you experience Parameshwara. It is only restlessness and Rajas. Same way, going downwards like Vishnu is Tamas, inertia or lethargy. You cannot attain enlightenment with these two attributes. Vishnu represents wealth. And I'm sure that every one of you know it in your life. At one point in time, when you were manifesting, when you were creating wealth, many people ask me this question, that I earned wealth, but at one point in time, I got stuck. And I'm not able to create wealth actively and manifest wealth actively. It is because you have chosen the lifestyle of tamas. Especially when wealth happens to you, if you start entering into a luxurious life at the cost of everything else, you will see that destroys you. But it is always much, much easier to break out of this laziness and come out, rather than the delusion that you know everything. At least in this, you physically know things are not happening around you. You are stuck. But with respect to knowledge, you feel that you have already grasped everything. You even have a justification to yourself as to why you're not having the experiences. And you justify to yourself that, oh, experiences are not needed. It's okay, I have this knowledge, I have this powerful cognition. That is more than enough. When the powerful truths and the cognitions that Swamiji is sharing does not become a cognition, does not become an experience into you, you become deluded. It is like you know the solution for the problems, but you never utilize the solutions to get over the problems. And that is the root cause of all the sufferings in your life. Look into your life and see. There may be so many problems that you are having, that you're stuck with. And you might also know the answers for all of them. But it is when you are having the understanding, it's okay. And you're able to justify something logically as to why it is not working for you and continue to live in the same problem, then you're exactly stuck in the pattern of Brahma. Because you even create a reason as to why you're suffering and you're okay with that suffering. You give a reason to yourself that suffering is fine. And that is the worst space you can be in. But on the other side, Vishnu, when you manifest too much wealth time and again, you suddenly forget from which space you are in. At one point in time, you will just realize that, oh God, I've deviated so much. At least then you can awaken yourself and come back. That is what Vishnu did. When he went on and on and on, initially he thought that his knowledge, his power, his wealth is more powerful. But at one point in time, he realized something's gone wrong here. That's what so many rich people go through in their life. If you listen to even the modern day rich people who are there, the wealthy people who are there, as long as they run behind money, suddenly at one point in time they realize that, hey, wealth is not buying me the actual happiness that I thought. Wealth is not actually bringing me the fulfillment that I longed for, that I earned for. And from there, they realize this and go. There is nothing that stops them to realize themselves again. Because you do not have an understanding that is going to delude you again, telling that, oh, it's okay. No. You just realize that there's no content in what you're doing. There's no fulfillment in what you're doing. And life should have a higher purpose rather than just trying to make money in your life. So Vishnu realizes that, and that is the reason till he reaches the calf muscle, he ties the bell around the calf muscle of Paramashiva and returns back to Paramashiva. Brahma is much more dangerous than Vishnu. Knowledge, or I can say partial intellectual knowledge, is much, much dangerous than not having any intellectual knowledge and just being a mundane, a normal person, a materialistic person. But of course, both are not the ultimate. It is redundant to waste your energy running behind the intellect or comfort. Whether intellect is greater or wealth is greater, neither of them can lead one to the ultimate truth or the ultimate bliss. As I shared with every one of you, neither can wealth give you that fulfillment, nor can the knowledge give you that fulfillment. Can the intellect give you that fulfillment? Even with intellect, at one point you get frustrated. None of this is becoming an experience. But intellect always has the problem to even delude you that experiences are not required. But ultimately, both of them are not the ultimate. Both of them cannot lead you to the ultimate truth, cannot lead you to the ultimate experience, cannot lead you to the ultimate bliss. Intellect and comfort, both of them are just utility in the life. It is needed for a certain level, but that is not life itself. Life is something that has to be intensely lived, intensely loved, experienced beyond logic and currency. This is the truth. Knowledge, intellectual knowledge is needed, but do not stop with that. Wealth is needed, but that is not the ultimate. The moment you base your entire life on just creating wealth and that you want to manifest, you want to create wealth for your future, so that you are secured in your future, you will actually create the problems. You might be spending your entire day working day in and day out to create wealth, to manifest money, and at the end of the day, lose your relationships, lose your health. So you create wealth at the cost of your health and relationships. Later, you spend the same money that you created on fixing your health and fixing your relationships. This is what happens when either just the intellect or comfort, both of them become as the very reason of our life. We need to understand they are just utility. Just like how you have an object, you can use it and keep it aside. When needed, you can pick it up. This cognition can only happen when you understand that life is not just about intellectual knowledge, gathering some intellectual knowledge or creating some money. Even the wealth for higher purpose of contributing to the society. The knowledge, the intellect to experience the deeper truths, the deeper sacred secrets, and making it as an experience to intensely live life, to go beyond logic and currency. Only when you decide and understand this, you will see that you actually experience life. Till then, one end you'll be stuck with wealth, another end you'll be stuck with intellectual knowledge. Most of the time, the intellectual people will always be like, oh, wealth is not required. And the wealthy people are like, intellect is not required. But both are required, and both of them are not ultimate. Both of them are just a utility value for you to use in your life. So this is the beautiful significance of the story of Lingodbhava, where Paramashiva very clearly described, manifested himself, and showed us how the mamakara or the ahankara, the ideas that you carry about yourself, the ideas that you project to the world, none of them are true. Both of them are hoax. At the same time, neither is wealth the ultimate, nor is the knowledge ultimate. Both of them are just utility in our life. The moment we think either of them is the ultimate, and the moment we make them as our goal in our life, that is where we are stuck in delusion. We are stuck in powerlessness. We are stuck in suffering, and we delude ourselves. So what you need to understand from the happening of Bhagavan Lingodbhava is that the ultimate is liberation, neither wealth nor intellectual knowledge. The truth is experiencing these powerful cognitions and liberating yourself from anything and everything that you understand as life. Now, we're going to be moving on to the next segment to understand about the world today versus Kailasa today. The world today, the COVID-19, that pandemic that every one of us are facing, has been taking toll on the mental health, and it's taking it to a dark place, and the healing work starts now. The entire world is going through a phase of extreme suffering, especially in the state of mental health. One side, the coronavirus is bringing so much of physical issues, and there are so many lockdowns, COVID restrictions that is coming up, that is trying to be imposed by various governments all across the globe, just to ensure that the pandemic doesn't spread. But it also affects the health mentally. As we know, mental health and the physical health are closely related to each other. So because your mental health is affected, even if you might be in your house, locked up, you are still going through so much of suffering and problems with your mental health because you do not know what to do. Kailasa is providing the spiritual solution. The Sri Kailasa Uniting Nations for Consciousness Studies and Practices over the past 27 years has been working towards empowering and enlightening adults with the greater science of Hinduism. Today, with the blessings of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Kailasa has over 10,000 de facto spiritual embassies aimed at bringing spiritual healing, empowerment, enlightenment for the entire benefit of the mankind. Like how every single day, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, our beloved Swamiji, is constantly providing us with various different solutions, programs, initiations, power manifestations, darshans, dikshas. Every day we are blessed with so many gifts from Kailasa, just so that we all experience the powerfulness and we are unaffected by the entire pandemic that is there. Swamiji, having taken responsibility for the entire world, is continuously guiding every one of us to experience powerfulness in our life, no matter what is the situations of our life. The shutting down of K-12 schools across 191 countries. As of April 15, 191 governments had closed K-12 schools in response to the coronavirus. As of mid-April, there were about 1.6 billion children who were out of school and who had no access to any education that was there amidst this pandemic. On the other hand, the Nityananda Hindu University, which is the world's largest Hindu university, as per the number of faculties, number of students, number of courses, numbers inspired by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, with over 20 million plus enrollments, 7,000 plus courses with extended campuses in over 150 countries. The Nityananda Hindu Library is collecting, organizing, preserving, time capsuling, decoding, spreading, and reviving the 20 million source books of Hinduism. And just like how we are experiencing this program now, this program is brought to all of us by the Kailasas Nityananda Hindu University. So amidst this pandemic time, from the time the pandemic began, continuous programs have been offered free of cost, completely free of cost to the entire humanity. Be it the Parameshivoham level 2, the Parameshivoham, the various Bhava Samadhi Darshans, the Parashakti Akashic readings. So much is being constantly provided to the entire world, where we learn this greater science of Hinduism. And the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism continuously sharing and showering us with the great sacred secrets from Kailasa during everyday Nitya Satsang. The surge of the suicide rate. As of mid-April, 191 countries having shut down all the schools, which also directly resulted with respect to suicides with COVID. Please understand, not just the COVID was a reason for the death, but because mentally, even if someone was affected by the COVID, people were so powerless, afraid, and insecure that it led them into suicides. Kailasa, on the other hand, having taken the responsibility to spiritually heal the world during the pandemic, Kailasa's Department of Religion and Worship, in collaboration with the Department of Human Services, has been offering Maheshwara Puja twice a month for the departed souls who passed away due to COVID, natural calamities, unnatural calamities, devastations for the year of 2020 till date. Through the Maheshwara Puja, the departed souls are offered completion and liberation through the sacred rituals offered at the feet of the 1008th living incarnation of Paramashiva, our beloved Swamiji. And especially during the second wave and the third wave in over few countries of the coronavirus pandemic, COVID is literally death in multiple ways: physical, mental, psychological, nervous. It's just a breakdown on all levels. Even if we are not affected directly by the COVID-19, just by listening to the number of people who are affected by it, and by even knowing, especially if someone of your friend, your colleague, your relative have been affected, it just mentally breaks you down so much, and you are physically going through so much. And just for that reason, Swamiji has been continuously providing these services to all of us. In the next segment, we're going to be looking at the scientific Hinduism. Joining us for this segment will be Sri Nitya Mangalananda Maharaj, who will be sharing with every one of us about the scientific Hinduism of the happening of Lingodbhava. Let us now stay tuned for the next segment of the Bhava Samadhi Darshan.
scientific Hinduism. In this segment, we're going to be first understanding about what is the Big Bang. Whatever you see appear from something which you can't understand, it's the Big Bang. Big Bang, in other words, is like initiation. As Supreme Court of Hinduism says, you experiencing the new you. Someday, suddenly you will feel even the trace of your old identity. There, every transformation happens in us. Every click which we have, every powerful cognition, every Darshan and Diksha which we have from the Master, all of these are Big Bangs in various different forms. Bang, the creation, black hole, the destruction. Between the sustenance is what I call the whole. The Vishnu energy. It is because of the Vishnu energy, life is happening. If the V hole is removed, with only Big Bang and black hole happening simultaneously, there will be no life. Bang is where the creation happens. Black hole is where the destruction happens. And between the Big Bang and the black hole is where the Vishnu energy exists. What Swamiji calls is the V hole. It's because of the Vishnu energy, life happens. Without the Vishnu energy, there will be no life happening. If the V hole, the Vishnu energy is removed, with only the Big Bang and black hole happening simultaneously, there will be no life at all. Which is responsible for the life both Vishnu. It can neither overflow nor can it be dried up. Why? Vishnu is always described to be on the ocean of the milk, the Milky Ocean. That Milky Ocean is nothing but the Milky Way of the cosmos. It can flow, not be dry. Understand? Shiva is always shown above the hill because during the destruction, he has to be above the happening here. Vishnu is always shown on the Milky Ocean. As the Milky Ocean in samana, in balance, then life can go on. It can neither overflow nor can it get dried. Bang and the black hole. Is a that is why it is called the V hole. Vishnu can neither overflow nor it can become dry. That is why Vishnu is always described as residing on the Milky Ocean. It is nothing but the Milky Way of the cosmos. Milky Way can neither be overflowed nor can it get. Parameshwara is always portrayed to be on top of the mountain, on top of the hill. During the process of destruction, he needs to be above everything. The creation can happen once again. But Vishnu is where life happens. And because the Milky Ocean in samana, in balance, then life can be. It can neither overflow nor can get dry. Life is the gap which happens between the Big Bang and the black hole. The whole message of Krishna, the happening called Krishna, in one word, separation. From the Big Bang to the black hole, if you want to increase the time, celebration is the way. In everything, celebration is the dharma of longevity. Celebration is what is Krishna the embodiment of. Understanding the Big Bang and black hole, as per Hinduism, is understanding the science of birth and the science of death. You understand the Big Bang and black hole in the microcosm. You'll understand the Big Bang and black hole in the macrocosm. You understand how mass is reduced to memory when it moves into time. You'll understand how your soul takes the next birth. Your soul loses its length, breadth, and depth, but it does not lose memory. It carries the memory and moves into time and assumes the next body. When the Big Bang and black hole is understood in the microcosmic level, then you'll be able to understand how both of them function in the macrocosmic level as well. If you understand how mass gets reduced to memory when it moves through time, then